Hey everyone, Mac is back, and today we're going to continue with the Siege of Winterfell series, and we're going to talk about 5 new commanders and their skills. Today is Sheila, Kevin, Robb, Haley, and Jamie, so let's get to it. Alright, so the first commander we're going to talk about is Sheila, and with Sheila we have the rage cost of 400, which is very, very low and very, very good. Her cooldown is the high cooldown of 12 seconds, which is kind of normal, or in the middle, I guess. Her skill is reduces the skill damage dealt by target troops by 85% for 5 seconds. So if there's any skill damage, say for instance someone's doing a coefficient of a certain percentage or whatnot, she'll reduce that to only a 15%. So that's very good if against a specific opponent. If there isn't skill damage, if it's something else, just regular damage like a high damage dealer, then she's not going to be able to defend you with that. But still, very good for 5 seconds there, and her bow attack is 240%. So she is a bow commander. If you do have a bow lineup, she's definitely going to be in there just because of that 400 rage, which is like the bare minimum. I don't know if we've seen another one that's been that low. Very, very good. You're going to want her in there for sure. Now looking at our second commander here, Kevin. His rage cost is 500, so it's just a little bit higher, which is still okay. That's still very, very reasonable. Cooldown 12 seconds, which is the norm. And his ability is recovers the wounded and the commander troops every second, coefficient of 600 for 5 seconds, and at the same time increases the defense of the commander troops by 400% for 5 seconds. So that skill in itself is the coefficient of 600 is actually pretty good for when it comes to the healing and for 5 seconds, so that's very nice. And then you have the defense of 400%, which I guess that's okay. 400% is significant, but still not too spectacular. Total health and total attack of 120% at gold quality, so that's not too bad as well. So you can put him in basically any lineup you want. He doesn't have to be in a cav lineup because there's nothing here specific to cav. He just has his total attack, total health. Put him wherever you want. Put him in a bow lineup if you want to. Perfectly okay. Now, probably not someone that I'm going out there to get unless I need a healer, but you definitely could put him in at pretty much any one of your lineups. Now looking at Robb, we have a rage of 600, so it's gone up 4, 5, and 6, so he's a little bit less effective. You would think effective, of course, because it's going to take longer to get that skill off. His cooldown is 12 seconds, which is the norm. And his ability is increases cav attack of the command troops by 1200% for 8 seconds. That's actually really good. Then you add on the bonuses, the stat bonuses here of cav defense and health of 240% apiece. That's really good for your front line. Then you get for 1200% for every 8 seconds. I know that the rage is starting to get on that higher end at 600, but man, 1200%, that's really good. And if you're free to play and you have a cav lineup, you're definitely putting Robb in there 100%. Moving on to Haley. Now Haley has a rage of 400, very low again, just like Sheila, so really, really good. I like that. The cooldown of 12 seconds is the same. The skill is increases the counterattack damage dealt by commander troops by 90% for 4 seconds. So this again is more specific to you doing that microing, and what I mean by microing is I mean by making sure you have Haley in a lineup that will counter another troop type. So if she's in an infantry lineup, which you'd want to put her in, make sure she's attacking spear, and you got to specifically click on her troops and then click on the attack on a spear lineup to be able to make sure you get her ability off, her skill off. And that skill for 4 seconds is really not that great. It's good if you can make sure you can get it off on that target, but you might not be able to do so. And then the increase of 240% infantry attack, which again, very, very good. Although in the overall grand scheme of things, really maybe not too great, unless and if it's a free to play and you have Haley in there, I can understand why you'd want to have her in your infantry lineup. Now looking at Jamie, his rage cost is 700, so that's on the upper end. That's pretty high. Not something that you're going to want to, you'd hope there's some good, skill and stats behind this, because it's going to take a while to get that off a couple times. Cooldown is 12 seconds, which is normal. And then the skill is reduces normal attack damage dealt by enemy troops in a circular area up to 3 targets by 80% for 5 seconds, and also at the same time increases the spear attack of them, your commanded troops, by 900% for 5 seconds. So that 5 seconds, that's pretty dang good right there. because now you're talking about three targets, very, very nice. You're talking about an 80% reduction in normal attack damage by the enemy troops. Then at the same time, 900% of your spear, because he's going to be one of your spear lineups, and that's really good. And looking at his bonuses, 240% for that frontline spear, defense and health, which is very nice, and then another 120% attack on top of that. So if you have a spear lineup, you're definitely putting Jaime in there just for the amount of damage that he does. Till next time, Mac out.